Hi, Dr. Paul Teich here, today with Athena, standing outside our beautiful Philadelphia, Bustleton and Lindenhurst office. And I'm doing this video for YouTube today outside because I wanted people to get a load of the fluffy clouds that are in the sky and the fact that outside has terrible acoustics. I don't know if you can hear me, and I know that nobody is really listening to anyone else. And there are times when we just have to be a man, a woman, a big boy, a big girl, and just take charge of whoever it is that's around us. And I'm a doctor, and yes, this has to do with taking care of loved ones. Came home from work at 11 o'clock, and my sainted father bent over to pick something up, grimaced in agony. I said, "Dad, that doesn't look like your back. It looks like your leg hurts." "My leg's fine." He's diabetic. He's prone to cellulitis. He's had massive attacks, and his legs are even black from previous attacks. I said, "Let me see your leg." I looked at his leg. Well, his leg was purple, swollen, and hot. I said, "Dad, you're contagious. You need to go to the hospital immediately." He said, "I've had cellulitis plenty of times." I do not have cellulitis. This is not cellulitis. Actually, he had begun to take an antibiotic that was left over from a previous unfinished bottle. It was the wrong antibiotic for what he had. He was claiming not to have what he had and saying that there was nothing wrong with him when he was in agonizing pain. I told him, "Dad, you need to go to the hospital." He wouldn't go. He refused. My dad is a very big, tough man, taught martial arts for the military. No one wants to mess with him, even at his age. So I lasered his leg to make him feel less pain. I said, "Dad, you're still going to need to go to the hospital, get an IV drip of antibiotic, and take pills thereafter." He then had me laser him, even came to the office for 3 days in a row, and his leg got worse and worse. It's possible he wasn't feeling as much pain as he should have been because he was getting laser therapy. As it turned out, my mistake. My daughter, Jazz, who's going to be a nurse, had to call him up and say, "You have Clostridium perfringens. It likes to live in you. You're immunocompromised. You have diabetes. If you don't, I am not coming to see you." She was going to go see him for lunch because you're contagious. You shouldn't be in any restaurants. You should be in the hospital. He could have lost his leg. He could have lost his life. My mistake. I made a joke of it later and said I should have woken up my brother. Got my brother drunk because he's more compliant after he's been drinking, and got out the handcuffs and wrestled my dad to the ground and handcuffed him and dragged him to the hospital. And that's what should have happened. There are adults everywhere, even highly educated, usually extremely mature ones, who act in illogical fashion and need an adult to be telling them what to do. In this case, for some reason, I couldn't take over for my dad when I should have, and told him. I did tell him what to do. I did tell him the right thing. However, he didn't listen to me and even lied to me about it. And to his own demise. Now he's in the hospital. They're saving his life. So what I'm trying to tell you today is, as our parents get older, or as our kids don't listen to us, and we say, "I know that you need to go to the hospital for these reasons," or whatever it is that our loved one is doing that is dangerous to them, if they are going to continue to do what is dangerous to them and their health, we immediately need to take appropriate action and not wait. I should have started screaming and yelling. Mom, Dave made the whole family come out and start dragging him to the hospital. I don't know if you can call an ambulance and have the ambulance drivers come in and wrestle your dad to the floor, put him on a table, strap him in on a gurney. I don't think they do that, but there is something I could have done. I could have been more stringent. I could have been stronger, meaner, more in charge, whatever you want to call it. And I have already had the opportunity to do this again for a patient, not family member, who may never be coming back, but the person came in, had a particular problem, needed to go to the hospital, was possibly contagious, and I said, you are going to the hospital right now. I can't close the office and drive you, as that is not in my job description, but you are going right now. And they said, I am not listening to you. I said then, and I believe because of HIPAA regulations, I am not even allowed to call that person's family and tell them what is going on. So the only thing I could do was tell the patient, you're never allowed in the office again unless you listen to me. You're coming to see a doctor. If you don't listen to me, then you cannot be under my care anymore. And I never want to talk to you again. Either go to the hospital and get taken care of, or never speak to me again. So that person is both never going to speak to me again and went to the hospital because they knew that I loved them, and that was as important as it was. So in the future, it's whatever I gotta do and as strong as I gotta be when people are acting like morons around me. One great part of the conversation was I was sitting with my mom, and my mom said, oh, I can't believe what your dad did about his cellulitis. I said, well, Mom, as people get older and they have to do multiple things to take care of themselves every day, they get tired of taking care of themselves. And since we are sexually and emotionally immature species, we have temper tantrums. I go, the other day, Dad didn't want to get out of bed, eat, or take his insulin. That was a temper tantrum. That's even how it's described medically. So I went in, sat with him for an hour, and had the best visit I have had with my dad in years, and the best conversation, and we joked around. And finally, I just told him I wouldn't get out of his room and stop annoying him until he got something to eat and took his insulin. A couple weeks later, he gets cellulitis, a complication of diabetes also. And what does he do? Not go to the hospital. He's having a temper tantrum. My mom goes, oh, yes, he's the worst. You know, it's her job to say that. She's the wife. I said, well, Mom, you just had a temper tantrum the other day, too. You're on one of the videos for Barrett'sEsophagus. You got that by torturing yourself with food and using food as a weapon against yourself instead of medicine. So Dad went, let's go out to dinner. What did you say? Oh, I can't go. All I can do is eat lettuce because Paul told me to only eat vegetables to balance out the pH in my body so I don't get cancer and die from Barrett'sEsophagus. I go, so I told you for the 12th time that day, you can go to any restaurant. If the only good vegetable they have is asparagus, get 12 orders of it and eat it and be happy about it and stop being a baby. I go, you had a temper tantrum right there. That's both of you. You're making fun of him, but you're both doing it, and it's because you're human beings. So adults need adults who can manage them and tell them what to do. When they start acting like morons, they somehow don't know they're acting like morons and don't want to listen to logic. All I can say is, in these cases, we must be strong, period, and make the person do whatever it is we're telling them and not give up, no matter what it takes to make them do it. If they end up hating us, that's fine. I hope it's a long and healthy hate. Dr. Paul Teich on taking care of our parents and kids. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the fluffiness of the clouds. Go smell a flower. God bless you.